Hello Sage Seeds. At over a PE of 30, not many people at a glance would call this inexpensive. So we're going to dive deep, working with our Sage Seeds AI at the end of the video in order to decide if this high PE is more than justified or if it's better to look for a value elsewhere. And if you've been owning shares so far, you've definitely noticed this. Diluted earnings per share on the Class C common stock have broken $30 per share for the first time ever. And this translates into free cash flow as well. The largest rows in the cash flow statement of Visa are an adjustment named client incentives, something that is almost unique to Visa, but that is matched up by client incentives in the changes to the working capital. The gap between the client incentive adjustment and the client incentive working capital change has been expanding. There is now over a $1 billion gap in just the last year. So that's what, as investors, we need to understand about Visa in order to make a decision going forward. A definition of client incentives prepared by the Investor Relations. Client incentives are defined as payments to financial institution clients, merchants, and other business partners to grow payments volumes, increase the usage of Visa products, pull merchant routing transactions into the Visa network. All great things that make complete sense, but then a fourth reason in order to drive innovation. But it leaves the door open for these client incentive payments to really mean anything. That's definitely worth noting when client incentives have been growing at a faster rate than service revenue, data processing revenue, and international transaction revenue. Whatever these client incentives are, they're increasing at around 20% a year. Here, the CFO department gives us the details. The largest Visa clients sign long-term contracts where Visa gives them discounts during the life of that contract based on performance targets that can be earned by the customers of Visa depending on how much and how frequently they use the Visa transaction network. Visa always records and capitalizes the future discounts of the entire contract the day they sign the contract, but it actually only costs Visa money if the customers hit all the performance targets or as they hit them. It's entirely possible that some customers don't use the Visa network as much as they thought they would, meaning that Visa gets to not pay out the client incentives. This accounting decision to call a whole account client incentives is because Visa is secretly hoping that not all of the discounts that it offers its largest clients will actually need to be paid out. More importantly, Visa spends a lot of energy trying to make sure that any client incentive, of which there are around 8 billion right now on the balance sheet, are discount liabilities that have a positive return on investment. Interestingly enough, choosing to manage client incentives, these special discounts, as an entire account on the balance sheet also allows Visa to justify increasing the amount of income tax that Visa defers. Like all good business ideas, a European Commission is investigating the fact that Visa creates these client incentive agreements. As of December 2022, Europe is threatening to fine Visa for doing this, probably calling it anti-competitive. Maybe they have a legitimate case, but Visa doesn't really say much about it. Literally writes 2 sentences, neither of them very focused on this as a risk for now. And so returning to the statement of cash flows, its top client incentives, the adjustment to the income statement, are the promised discounts that Visa is making to new large clients. In the latest year, 12.3 billion in discounts to these large clients. The lower client incentives in the working capital is the actual cash that Visa is paying to customers that have had promises of discounts and hit their targets. In the latest year, Visa paid out $11 billion to customers that had long-term contracts and hit their targets. The difference between these two flows of accounting is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's generating money for now, but this is not something that Visa has ever done at this scale before. The European Union is already threatening to look for opportunities to fine Visa for this latest business practice. The game Visa is playing is a game of courting very large financial institution clients. Visa has far since outgrown the courting of small merchants and trying to get retail customers to have Visa credit cards in their pockets. All of that was the old Visa. Visa's playing a Game of Thrones now at a very high level. And I'm not sure what to compare it to personally. This is the peak of credit service companies for sure. Luckily, we have the Sage Seeds artificial intelligence to give us a season ranking for the 2023 season, ranking Visa relative to all the other companies that the Sage Seeds AI has access to. Thousands and thousands of companies, Visa is about to be ranked. What type of ranking are you expecting? Visa is ranked in the 47th percentile in value for the 2023 season. Almost the perfect definition of a hold. No one should feel bad at all about owning this, but SageSeeds AI wouldn't necessarily consider this the best time to be building a position. It boils down to the mo money, mo problems dilemma. Being at the top of your industry means that you have to do new things by definition in order to keep growing, but thanks to SageSeeds AI, we can see that there are plenty of less risky options out there. Maybe Visa figures it out, but it's also true that Visa for sure has a target on its back. Do you care if you use Visa, MasterCard, another option? Is anyone out there still using cash and thinks that that's the future for some reason? Let's discuss in the comments below. Follow me on Instagram to get hints about upcoming videos. I'm also available on X and Threads, trying to answer direct messages as often as I can. Thank you for watching until the end.